Hey guys, welcome to Tomorrow's Yesterday. My name is Diego. Here I got Miguel and Josh with me. Let's go ahead and get into breaking down Spider-Man Far From Home. What did you guys think? Initial thoughts on it?
Miguel?
I thought that it was very good. There was a lot of thinking going on in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like, if I think back to all of the Marvel movies, probably the one that had the most, like, mind-boggling things going on throughout the movie. Where you're just like, wait, I'm so confused. Especially with Quentin Beck and all of that stuff. Blew my mind apart. But, I mean, I thought it was great. There's a lot of little things that I saw in the movie that I just really loved.
Josh, what did you think of Spider-Man Far From Home?
I thought it was good. You definitely notice how, well, to me, there's been the rumors or they've said that it's going to go a lot more into the cosmic and magic and whatever, all that stuff. You see it because Mysterio's just magic the whole time. They talk about the blip. I mean, it's not magic, I guess. It's science.
Yeah.
But
it's science,
you think Mysterio,
right.
You know, you see him fighting the elementals and you're like, oh, he's got magic. Character development, I thought was great. The relationship between Spider-Man and MJ and the friendships, whatever, everything like that. I thought they did a phenomenal job in the whole movie with all their storylines, separate storylines, you know, legs of it and everything like that.
I'm a big Spider-Man fan. He is my favorite superhero out of all superhero universes, and I feel like they finally nailed the essence of Spider-Man, where they weren't shying away from spider sense, which they don't call spider sense in the movie, and I refuse to call it what they call it. I think it's stupid.
The Peter
I
Tingle.
hated it.
The Peter Tingle.
I was waiting for them to say it.
Another thing that I loved was that they finally are taking Peter and showing how smart he is. The fact that, I mean, he went and he built the suit. He was using Tony's tech as if it was his, and, you know, separating everything, looking into it, and deciding exactly how his suit needed to be. Not, you know, this is the first suit that he's made since his first suit.
I also think they do a good job at showing that he's a 16-year-old.
They do.
I do too.
Because Peter Parker originally is a teenager, high school kid, and it shows his emotions.
His emotions.
The movie. I mean,
like how giddy he gets about like just the littlest things, like how excited.
MJ,
you even see that in Civil War, like he's like so excited and has no idea what to do. He's like, all I'm trying to do is just like impress Tony. So
they did a really good job of capturing.
I don't like the way they portray Flash either.
Not even a tiny bit.
But I would think that what they're trying to do with him, which again, I'm not saying I agree with it, but I think they're trying to show more of he's a bully not because he's big, but because he's damaged. Like you saw when they got back from the airport, where's Mom?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, she didn't come. Oh. Right.
This whole movie, you see a whole different Peter, right? In the sense that, like you said, you really see a high school kid. In the first movie, you see a high school kid, but he's like, Ned, I'm not even going to be in high school anymore. Like, stop. I'm not going to Spanish, right? And then in this movie, you see the complete opposite. He's like, I just want to go on my class trip. Like, leave me alone. Yeah. Everybody leave me alone. I just want to be part of my high school. And it's very interesting that they did that to me. A whole reverse, because now he has the opportunity to step up into that role, and he doesn't want to.
So they get to Paris? No, they didn't go to Paris first.
Rome.
No.
Italy. They're in Italy. Vienna. Venice.
Yeah. So the students are going to Venice.
I thought it was Vienna.
Okay. They're going somewhere foreign.
In Italy.
In Italy. They're going to Italy.
In Italy.
And they get off the plane. They get off the plane. And Ned... Tom Holland's faces of shock are the best.
Oh, hilarious.
They get off the plane, and Betty and Ned, in the 8 hours and 49 minutes or however long the flight was, had become boyfriend and girlfriend.
They haven't just become boyfriend. They have They have allegedly fallen in love with each other in 8 hours.
This is like bachelor and bachelorette status. Like,
yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
instantly just falling in love, calling each other sweetie, babe.
Yeah.
I'll do anything for you. Oh, okay, let me get your bags. Like,
Yeah.
falling in love.
So Mysterio starts out in the beginning of the movie as supposedly a good guy from a different world. So Mysterio, he successfully convinces everybody that he's from another world,
Right.
that there's a multiverse, that he's from Earth 833 when this is Earth 616, and he tells them that the elementals destroyed his world. They failed to kill the fire elemental, which is the last one that they need to kill
Right.
in this world. They fight the monster, they defeat the monster, and Quentin Beck apparently almost sacrifices his life to stop it because he's not going to let what happened to his world happen to this one because it got too strong. He destroys it by potentially sacrificing his life. Obviously, he survives because it's not real, but he plays it out as if he was sacrificing himself. He was hoping that Peter would see him as this new hero and hand him over Edith, which is exactly what happened. He played him.
Which we find out is something that Quentin Beck had a very big part in creating, or he created it at first, and then Tony Stark kind of created it and said, "Hey, this is all mine."
And then you find out that it's not only Quentin, but he has a crew of people.
Right.
And every single person in that crew at some point in their lives worked for Tony Stark.
Right.
And does not like Tony Stark because of how things ended for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so they all have a bone to pick with him. And now that he's dead, what better way than to convince the world that this group of people is the next Tony Stark under the moniker of Mysterio. So Mysterio isn't necessarily one person. Mm-hmm. It's all of them. But Quentin Beck was the face of Mysterio.
Right.
One of the scenes that keeps popping up into my mind is the moment, like, everybody's waiting for Peter to be far enough away for them to start celebrating after he gets Edith.
Yeah.
Because Peter leaves and everybody stays. And the moment that they know he's far enough away, Jake Gyllenhaal's acting, which is like...
Oh, yeah.
That's creepy smile of... It worked!
It's like, yeah, woo!
Yeah. Like, we did it, you know? His intention was probably to use Spider-Man to further his hero status as time went on, if he could do it successfully. Yeah. Once Spider-Man finds out that Quentin is Mysterio, and evil Mysterio, not a good guy, he takes it upon himself to go try and stop him because he can't get word out to Nick Fury because he's tracking cell phones. So he's like, okay, maybe... Well, and Nick was supposedly in Germany as well, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to Germany. I'm going to find him. And Mysterio had set up and prepared this whole grand illusion. And that scene had a very Doctor Strange feel. Like
absolutely. Like, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. It was very Doctor Strange.
And it was very Mysterio. Oh, my gosh. They nailed Mysterio to a T. That scene where they zoom out and they're in Mysterio's helmet and he takes it off and his head isn't there.
And he's holding the glass. Beautiful.
When Nick shot him, I was like, sick, finally. And then he freaking reveals that it's him still. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude.
Not only does he reveal,
so good.
Not only does he reveal that it's him, he gets Peter to tell Nick Fury, quote unquote Nick Fury, right? Who is Quentin Beck, who else he told about the whole thing. Yeah. That Quentin Beck is a bad guy.
Yep.
And then he reveals, you're really, really gullible, and then whoops on him some more.
Yep.
Gets him hit by a train.
With a freaking train.
So we're now at the point where we're gonna go into the Spidey sense scene.
Yeah, we're there. Because he drops into the drones.
He drops into the drones.
Destroys the drones.
He just destroys them. There's a little bit of fighting here and there, and then he comes face to face with Quentin Beck.
Yes.
And Quentin Beck has his drones summoned, and he creates another illusion around Spider-Man where he can't see anything except blackness, basically. And you hear Spider-Man talking to himself.
Yeah.
He takes a very deep breath. And in pure blackness, he just takes off and he starts destroying all of these drones that he cannot see. You have to remember that he can't see them because they are projecting
their camouflage.
The illusion, right? They're projecting the illusion of blackness. He is whooping these drones that he can't see. And it has got to be one of the coolest.
But he's not just whooping. He's using like the acrobatics, like the just jumping
webs.
all over the place.
Like webs. And it's like aggressive too. Like it's not just like passive like punching in this. Like he's like grabbing them and like Hulk smashing them into other ones. Like It is intense.
He did.
It's just
And
like
it is just one of the it is the coolest scene, in my opinion, in the entire movie.
One thing that you notice in him in that illusion I felt his emotion.
yeah,
Because I feel like normally in like the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire and the second one, it was like whenever he was fighting, most of the time, the Amazing Spider-Man did it a little better with the emotional fighting.
But almost like
it was almost like
scared
I'm
or
Spider-Man, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight you. But when he's fighting those drones, like all the buildup of the sadness and the anger and everything,
just all comes out, like you said,
drones,
aggressive.
Like Hulk smashing. He's just
yeah.
like
like,
you
I'm
never
done. This
see
is it.
Spider-Man fight like that ever.
Right.
And
Right.
so then when he
was
does
so
get
pissed.
when he
It was
does
just like
get
anger
to
almost.
Quentin Beck, it's just
yeah.
You see him and
you're
his
heightened.
even the dialogue of that scene, he's like,
Yeah.
I'm done. You lied to me. Why would you do like he's
Yeah.
just pissed at it.
And out of nowhere, Peter whips his hand out, but he grabs Quentin's arm, Mysterio's arm.
We don't see it.
We don't see it because
I thought he grabbed the gun.
No,
Did he, not?
he
grabs
he
his
grabbed
arm?
his wrist.
Oh, it was the wrist.
Yeah,
Okay.
But we
And
see
so-
Peter's hand holding nothing.
Yeah, because the
in the air.
illusion is making it appear as if Quentin is laying down on the ground, and instead of standing, and so he's made himself invisible to Peter, but because of the spider sense, he's able to grab his wrist, deflect the gun before it goes off.
No. Before it goes off in his
Before it goes
direction
off,
because he
and
pulls
right
the
as it
trigger
goes off.
as
Yeah.
he grabs his wrist.
And the thing that's cool to me about that is one, the spider sense, obviously, and the fact that he knew he was there, but it wasn't
It wasn't so focused.
Yeah,
Right.
It was
And
just
he
there.
He wasn't even looking.
He
Right.
wasn't
He just
looking.
boom.
And he was so focused.
Do you
and it was just so cool to see. Like, it was kind of that. It's going to be the kind of transition into Spider-Man being Spider-Man, and we're going to see. I really hope they kind of really let him soar. You know what I
Let
mean?
him soar.
Like,
let him
become
the
an adult.
maturity.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Show him really, really mature. So, the post-credit scene for Spider-Man: Far From Home was
Insane.
honestly a shocker. And it's interesting because in the final conflict between Spider-Man and Mysterio has created a secondary illusion that is, and filming it, and
Gosh.
then sends this film as if Spider-Man was the villain.
Spider-Man
And
was ordering the hits on everybody, firing
he
the
was
drones.
in charge of the drones,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
Mysterio had killed the elemental, had sent it back to its own world,
Right.
and he made it sound like Peter was saying, "Execute everyone," and,
Right.
and you can
Yeah.
hear
You hear it
Peter
saying.
Parker say, "Execute everyone." Now, that's a huge bomb to drop, and then they bring in J. Jonah Jameson, but then it comes back
To
and
Mysterio.
Not only does Mysterio show everybody or try to convince everybody that Spider-Man is killing everybody instead of him, he then not only name drops
on the
Peter
news,
Parker on the news
in New
billboard,
York on a big billboard.
says Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker. Not only does he say the name, but it pops the image up
Of
his
Peter
face.
Parker's
Yeah.
face. There are so many things, so many implications, so many things that could go wrong. Obviously, that's going to put everybody, Aunt May, MJ, Ned, everybody
Yep.
who was in danger this whole movie, right back into the danger, but consistently.
Yep.
But not
Peter-
only them, but everybody at the school.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody
Well, I
that
mean-
he deals with
Yeah.
in general.
That was such a huge thing to
But
drop
how? Yeah.
on a post-credit scene where you have no kind of closure. You know what I mean?
None.
I think it's gonna last a little bit.
I do too.
Like, this is where we'll see him having to fight against the police and all those people because they're all
Yeah.
going to be out to
As
get
a
him.
vigilante,
And, right, and that's
is
kind of
all-
what
But
we
he's going to
see
have
in the
to
Amazing
save
Spider-Man.
people. Yeah, and
but,
he's going to have to
you know,
save people while also
gets
running
arrested
from the
and
law.
then-
Yep.
You know,
so.
but the thing is, not only, but that's a huge difference too. Is that it's not only Spider-Man that's in trouble. It's Peter Parker.
Yeah.
They know where he lives. They know who Aunt May is. They know. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the episode. That's Tomorrow's Yesterday. Go find us on Instagram at Tomorrow's Yesterday, and yeah, we're good to go.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.